So yeah, you read the title correctly. I'm leaving Cusco, Peru, and I'm moving back home to California. This hasn't been an easy decision, but it's the right one, and I want to share a little bit about my journey with place and moving. If you're new here, my name's Andrea Pimentel. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm still figuring out what I'm doing. My life in Peru, in the state that it was, won't be a thing anymore. Back in May, I moved back to Peru rather. I'd grown up there, gone to high school there. You can check out this video here if you want to learn more. And then about a month ago, in a short trip just to visit some family, I decided I would stay here in California. Initially, moving to Peru was kind of a crazy idea. Buying a one-way ticket is kind of a crazy idea. And Peru was wonderful, filled with friendships and good memories and time with family. In my last video, I said, go to another continent, try to find yourself there. And I kind of laughed at myself, but looking back on it, I actually did find myself. I have a new name now. My name's Andrea Pimentel. I had a different outlook on life. I thought differently about the world. I feel like I found myself a little better. It's easier to find out what you're gonna do if you know who you are. But all good things come to an end, they say. I'm moving back to California, and I recognize the insurmountable volumes of privilege I have in just deciding to move to somewhere like California. But that's where my family lives. Right now, I'm about to leave. I'm moving back home. And it's a little difficult to admit that, because it means my plan of moving to Peru, getting a remote job, and frolicking in South America has failed. But at the same time, I'm going back home and coming to appreciate what home is for me. So I got some food, some snacks, packed my bags, and about to get on a bus. My next step is going to the North Bay. There's a few reasons for why, but before I get into that, I just wanted to reflect a little on my time in Peru. It was a leap of faith buying a one-way ticket, and it was a little bit crazy, but at the time we were in lockdown and I didn't really know what else to do. So I went, and it was fun, it was beautiful. My friends really made it worth it. My family really made it worth it. I want to thank all the people who made my time in Peru so beautiful. Les quiero agradecer a mis amigos, a mis amigas, a mis amigas. ¿Sabes quiénes son? Gracias por las salidas divertidas, por el tiempo, por los proyectos, por las conversaciones, por las comidas. I'm gonna miss my friends, I'm gonna miss my family. Prometo ir a visitarles. Gracias a mi familia, porque realmente fue algo muy bello, aunque no haya durado por siempre. When I first left Peru, I thought I was coming back in early April. I think the weight of that journey felt like a vacation being on that plane, not like I was leaving again. It's a different feeling. And I wish no sabía que no iba a regresar y me hubiese gustado despedirme bien de todos. So why did I move from Peru to California? I'd say there's two big reasons. I made such a fuss of moving, I feel a little silly moving back. And in many ways, it's to accept a failure. A failure that my idea of living in Peru, of having this kind of fantasy life of relaxation and comfort, well, it didn't work out. And it's time to admit that it didn't work out, even though that's hard to admit. I'm not going to live in a cabin in the woods. I'm not gonna live in Peru. So why did I move back? The biggest reason for me was just a stark cultural contrast from California to Peru. I have been dressing the way that makes me comfortable for nearly a year now, and it was really hard to be like this every day in Peru and get glared at every day in Peru. I didn't like it, and it's something I didn't really realize was affecting me until I got to California and I wasn't the only person who looked like me, and people didn't give me a hard time for being myself, and people respected me. It's really hard to quantify this homophobia. I did have a group of queer friends in Peru. They really helped. Technically, both places have homophobic people and accepting people. But here in California, culturally, there's an ingrained acceptance, at least, in the Bay Area where I am. And that makes a huge difference. Not getting glared at every day for how I dress is pretty cool. Sadly, here in California, the only people that give me those looks are other Latin American people. And that's kind of frustrating, but I understand. It's not as accepted. So yeah, I moved back because I wanted to be in a place that's more accepting of queer people. I think it would be important to change Peru's culture, but maybe when I'm older and I'm more sure of myself. For now, I'd rather live in a place that accepts me. The second reason is because I need to get a job. And working in Peru, I would have made very little. People there make maybe $1 an hour. I was getting paid closer to $2 an hour. Yeah, it would have been really hard to leave Cusco. Even though Cusco is beautiful, I want to travel the world and I would say my takeaways from living in Peru, like any place, it's made wonderful by the people you're around. If you're queer and you're thinking of moving, I don't think, it's as bad as other places. But yeah, there aren't gay bars. There's just this underlying current always flowing below that you're not accepted. Just something to be aware of. But it is a beautiful place. It's been really emotionally taxing, all these big decisions. My next video is going to share. I want to talk a little bit about one of the other ones that's really been weighing on me. This has been a big one. And unfortunately, my reaction to stress is to kind of shut down and not do anything. That's why I'm behind on the video. But making these videos is my dream. I have a lot more planned. Thankfully, I go to therapy every week. I'm learning to overcome these things, my reactions to things. I'd recommend therapy to everybody. For me, it's really hard to accept that my plan didn't go the way I thought it would. I guess I wasn't planning on being trans in a country that is Roman Catholic. California, of course, has its faults, but at least for queer people, I think it's pretty great. In the future, I want to share more queer stories. I want to travel and figure out where my place is in the world. So if you subscribed and got this far into the video, that really means a lot. These videos really help me. I don't journal, but for whatever reason, I'm okay journaling to a couple hundred people, and I think I'd be okay if that number was bigger. I'm gonna keep going because there's so much to explore. I kind of feel like coming out as trans has almost been a rebirth, so I'm really happy to take you guys along for the ride, and I can't wait for the next video, and I'll see you next Sunday. The eucalyptus reminds me